Good late Thursday, early Friday, meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you an update on that weather across our region. You can see here those temperatures still pretty toasty. I mean, still have some lower 80s on the board here, into the wee hours really almost as we're looking at things. So definitely that summertime pattern in terms of these warmer temperatures that's around. I know we're not seeing the summertime storms every day, though. That's kind of interesting. We'll probably start seeing more moisture next week, but it's going to get hot here first. I know that FSU baseball series, that super regional series there against UConn and Tallahassee, looking to be more hot there than wet. So just make sure you're drinking plenty of water. I know up toward South Carolina, the Gators super regional series there against Clemson. Looking like the rain shouldn't be too much of a factor here as we're looking earlier on in the timeline and on Saturday, kind of looking at that there. That's some good news as we're kind of giving you an idea of what's going on in toward that area there. I know the Gators kind of a little bit of a Cinderella story this year in college baseball so far, but Seminoles pretty high national seed there, and UConn's even more of a Cinderella story to some degree, at least. I mean, as we're kind of looking at things, not expected to be around in toward this round, but I know I just looking toward Clemson, rain shouldn't be too big of a story. So that's the good news. Not as hot as Tallahassee as we're looking up there, but just to kind of giving you guys an idea here on what's going on. I know we had some warnings toward like southwest Georgia, even a warning there as we were looking further down into our southeastern zones. But southwest Georgia, we did have one damage report there, but overall not too big of a deal. I know in central Florida, conditions were a bigger deal on that Thursday. I had some hail reports, in other words, like areas around St. Cloud, for instance. Even a report of a land spout there in central Florida on that Thursday. So getting a little bit more active down there. I know Storm Prediction Center even considered a watch as we're kind of looking at things, as we're kind of tracking things here. I know just kind of a situation. I didn't quite need that, but still quite a few damage reports there on that Thursday evening across central Florida. So that's an interesting storyline there. They kind of zoom out. You see some scattered showers around Augusta there, around, it looks like Charleston, South Carolina. Getting into some of that activity here as we're kind of looking at things. I know 1:25 a.m., that timestamp there, that's when we're on with this live. If you're watching live, if you're not, that's when we're on with the latest. And you can see some shower and thunderstorm action around Lubbock, Texas, and still very warm, way there into the night. As we're looking toward some of these areas there, further off toward the west. I mean, you see toward Del Rio, Texas, 91. You see 94 on El Paso, and it's a little earlier in the time toward Los Angeles. They're not as warm there in town, but further off toward the east, big difference. I mean, it's that temperature contrast there. I mean, look, at areas there as we get, toward desert regions. I mean, kind of a big difference. I mean, and then you look at these readings, 94 toward Palm Springs and 101 around Las Vegas. So, that kind of is crazy to think about. That's just the pattern, that we have a lot of times here at this point in the year with the warmer temperatures there in some of those communities as we're looking further out toward the west. So, again, just kind of a storyline there. And it's just something to kind of take note of as we're looking at things and giving you guys at home the very latest to protect you, your friends, and your family. So that's kind of an overview there in terms of all that. I know we've kind of been watching the tropics, maybe a little bit lesser chance of getting a name system next week, but tropical moisture is on the way here. Still could get something. It's not out of the question, so don't lay your guard down in terms of that, but it looks like it could have a good bit of rain. There's still a chance of some flooding next week here toward the Sunshine State. So big pattern shifting. We had some storms on Wednesday, had some thunderstorm accident in Central Florida, for instance, on that Wednesday. A few warnings here and there, not widespread, not really too many damage reports, anything like that. But tropics wise, I know you can stock up right now on those tax-free hurricane supplies for a little bit longer. Alberto, the first name. Beryl, the second name. When the last hurricane season got to run all the way through November 30th, so it's a long season. I know sometimes we already have storm names being used by now, so that's good. We haven't had any, but it doesn't necessarily, say the season's going to be calmer than we were expecting or anything like that. I mean, think of 1992. It was a calmer season in terms of the number of storms, but the first storm was Andrew. So, and we all know how that turned out, sadly, for South Florida. And as you go through this list, Williams, the last name on this list, and if we go through all these, there'll be an alternative name list used here in the Atlantic. So, just kind of giving you an idea there as we kind of give you the very latest. Let me go ahead and look here, kind of giving you a look here at that rainfall forecast for the next 7 days. I know, giving you a viewpoint of South Florida, Central Florida. The official forecast shows more precip expected down there right now. I know at a ward like South Florida, this is some 5+ inches on average there as we're getting, maybe toward Homestead and around Miami and then the Keys. Toward West Palm Beach, maybe more like 4 inches on average. Central Florida, well, that's 2.5 inches to 3 on average. And in our North Central Florida zones, that's looking like right now at least more like 1 to 2 on average. And in South Georgia there, I know it depends on where you are. Southwest Georgia, maybe like a 1/4 inch on average, but in South Central Southeast Georgia, a little bit more precip. So it's looking like more rain to the south still, but our area could definitely get into some pretty heavy action here at point. The flooding potential would seemingly be higher for the south right now, but we'll keep an eye on things. There's not enough reasoning to turn the logo red here at this point, but I'll watch things. I know clutter.com/radar for an interactive look at things. That's a good place to go. So just kind of keep that in mind as we're looking at things here as we're tracking the overall situation. So, again, I'm just trying to give you the very latest here to protect you, your friends, your family, inform you, your friends, and your family. So, let me go ahead and kind of go on over here. Florida covered area, we're always on for a tornado and storm within the 62 counties. Of course, so we've had thunderstorm warnings. We'll go on for those that are needed. Haven't really seen enough damage, potentially the local ones that have to go on here too much lately, but I'm always watching here, always tracking. I know, posting the latest on Facebook there, on Twitter/X. So we don't have to go on, but have some local thunderstorm warnings around. I know we'll start getting in more of an active pattern here with those points. You would think here as we're kind of looking at the overall scenario. It's just eventually the low averages will kind of work themselves out with that. But I know we don't miss those warnings though. But I know in summertime you do expect to get rain around, so kind of give and take. You don't want to get too dry when you're expecting a precip, but then all of a sudden you can have a flood potential if you get too much rain too quick. So it's just kind of how it works out as we kind of go to that extended forecast. I know 30% chance of rain on that Friday, 10% Saturday, Sunday. It's going to get hot. Just make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Not quite as humid of a heat as sometimes we get around here, but as you look toward Monday, we start to see some moisture increase, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, really start to get those rain chances a little bit higher. 91 for the high on Tuesday, 90 Wednesday and Thursday, as it is core with more moisture around, so, and just more cloud cover around, really. So it's closer to average, closer to what you would expect there with the storm action. Though, again, some of it just kind of depends on where you are in our area, too. I mean, more that toward North Central Florida maybe than like area like Southwest Florida, like Blakely might not get as much there as like Ocala, for instance. That's what we're kind of thinking right now. Ocala would get a good bit more. Just is what the general thinking is right now there, like toward Marion County and North Central Florida zones, Flagler County, maybe a little bit more in other areas. So just the overall broad brush of things. So again, I'm just trying to give you the latest in regards to all that. We'll keep watching things. We'll keep tracking things here and updating everything that you guys need to know here as it is necessary. I think that's pretty much going to do it for tonight. If we need to be on during the weekend, we will. I know we were close to having to come on for some of that stuff there around Baltimore area there, Washington, D.C. TV region on that Wednesday. Didn't get any tornado emergencies. We had tornadic activity kind of developed there and a low risk. So always got to keep your eyes on things. We were retweeting. I was retweeting some stuff there on Twitter /ExitCloudCasey. So just always important to kind of give you guys everything there in that regard. So if there's any live questions or comments, I don't see any, but again, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. I hope you have a great night and also a great weekend. Hopefully my nose will get the job done there in that college baseball super regional. Graduated from there and just hope they can get that job done and move on to Omaha there and the College World Series.